Once upon a time, I did not know what I know now, so I made poor choices and didn't have good solutions when I needed to fix something. I want my listeners to make better choices and have better solutions when or if needed. This is the podcast Eel Zebra's Transformations. I am the Eel Zebra. The main purpose of this podcast is to continue journaling so that I keep healing. This is not a diary, meaning that my records won't necessarily reflect events in their chronological order, nor do I promise that the details will be accurate. If listening to my processing of traumas helps someone else along the way, I'll take it as having accomplished something for the higher good of all concerned. But now, without further ado, let's start. I hear there is a new book about a Latvian girl, Lauma, and her beast, which is the English translation of Zvērs. The author is Linda Arāja, and Zvērs is her first book. Lauma is a Latvian name. It is also the name of a Latvian fairy spirit and goddess in Latvian mythology, like Wendy in the story of Peter Pan. I haven't read the book, but it's suggested as a must-read on a Latvian Facebook group I follow. Some readers say, though, it's a heavy read. I read a summary on Goodreads and conclude it's about trauma bonding with a narcissist. One woman reviews saying she's read the book but won't keep it on her bookshelf for its energy.
A trauma bond will have you rationalizing anything. I've said this before, but a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath will bring you to a level of desperation that you didn't know you could reach. And when that trauma bond kicks in, which is literally an addiction, literally a malfunction of attachment that has you believing that you cannot live without your abuser on a primal level, things can get so bad
that you do not recognize yourself and the things that you are staying through in the relationship. And trauma bond is the main reason that it takes on average 7 attempts to leave and stay out of abusive relationship, because time and time again, out of object desperation, and by the way, abusers are amazing at cultivating dependency and then desperation, victims find themselves going back again and again. Their standards lower, their boundaries disintegrate, and you turn into an addict.
Someone who is almost literally, when you try to leave, picking at their skin because you feel like you need this person. And your addiction brain will tell you anything to keep you in the cycle. It will rationalize any behavior. And I mean any behavior. Because your line in the sand was that you were never going to stay with someone who disrespected you. You would never have stayed with someone who put their hands on you, who cheated, who lied, who made you feel crazy, who made you completely lose yourself. But the pain of having your drug ripped away from you, being out of that cycle where your abuser essentially sets you on fire and then wraps you in a safety blanket, sets you on fire and then wraps you in a safety blanket, conditioning you to believe and feel on a fundamental level that they are the only person that can make you feel okay, will have you abandoning yourself again and again and again just to have that pain, just to have that agony of being without that person who is the only person that can fix you, even though they are the person that fucking broke you, just to have that pain eased. You find yourself
negotiating with yourself, rationalizing, justifying their behavior, doing all kinds of mental gymnastics to make it okay, to suppress it, to push it down, just to have that pain eased. You feel like you could put up with anything. You will push anything away. Your standards, your boundaries, your limits, there aren't any. You're like an addict that just wants their hit, just wants the pain eased. And you feel like your abuser is the only one who can do it. And you will eat lies, gaslight yourself just to survive the connection. This fierce and fearless speaker was Claire Auden. Her website says Claire is a narcissistic abuse educator, recovery coach, and podcaster. She has worked extensively in the entertainment industry as a model, actor, dancer, and presenter. She's passionate about self-education, learning, and educating the public about healthy versus unhealthy relationships, trauma bonding, narcissistic abuse, and recovery. I am Ilse B. I am a language and storytelling coach. Among other things, I train people to listen to the nuances of the language melody of effective speakers. What I like about Claire is the conviction and certainty with which she speaks. As an actress, she has mastered how to use her voice effectively. Krista on Goodreads about Zvärs, or beast. Saying this book was crazy doesn't even begin to cover it. It stirred up every possible negative emotion: anger, disgust, disbelief, shock, fear, and above all, a deep, overwhelming sadness. Such heavy sadness. The aftertaste is strong, very strong. Certain scenes are literally burned into my brain. This is a book that will not leave you indifferent. It's impossible. Read it only if you are ready for something truly intense and brutal. The kind of story that will almost want you to scream because you can't do anything to change it. Lauma meets beast. Lauma is too young, too bright, too pure. She falls in love fully and sincerely, giving herself away completely, sinking into a swamp that becomes harder and harder to escape. While reading, I was angry at this naive girl. I kept thinking, how does she not see? But that's the heartbreak. She doesn't see. She doesn't want to see. She doesn't want to believe. She idealizes. She loves from the heart. These are relationships that give her nothing and take everything. They ruin her physically and emotionally. Addictions, alcohol, drugs also play a major role in the story. And of course family and childhood, because it all starts there. The ending. I won't say anything, just read it. I'll need a few days myself to digest it, reflect, and move forward. Postscriptum. This is not the story of one specific woman. It is built from many real experiences woven together to bring attention to a painful reality, to make us notice, to recognize, to see, and to help. Because there are things we would rather condemn, ignore, or pretend not to see. But we must talk about them. The end of Krista's review. I haven't read the book, but I think I know Lauma. I can see through her eyes. I can sense through her skin. I can be in her brain. The mirror is cracked down in the middle, a jagged line splitting the reflection into two broken halves. A cup sits on the windowsill, sticky with something sweet and rotting, forgotten. The rain outside presses against the glass, not heavy, just steady, as if trying to wash everything away without force. In the glass, a face stares back. Pale, too thin, with eyes emptied out like abandoned crab shells, hollowed and left behind. Something flutters in the chest, recognition mixed with doubt. Maybe she was real once. Maybe not. I was 19, I think. I was light then, maybe even bright. Beast smelled like winter when he first leaned close, like cold leather and smoke. I am Lauma, I believe. There had been hands, warm and rough, promises breathed against a neck, promises that blurred too easily into demands. One kiss, one night, one yes, and then it was already too late to name the place where the giving ended and the taking began. The radio clanks loud and ugly, a hollow metal cough that jerks my mind back to the room. Blanket slipping from the shoulders, skin prickling with a damp chill creeping through the cracked window. Beast had said it was love. No one who loves you would let you go, he said, pressing harder, holding tighter, until even breath felt like permission he could take away. Sometimes the bruises bloomed in places no one could see. Sometimes they were inside where they could pulse without anyone ever noticing. The air smells of mold and burnt coffee. Something blackens in the corners of the room, but I have no energy left to care. Maybe the filth is part of it now. Maybe it has always been. Memory pulls like a hook in the back of the throat. The way his smile could light up a room, the way fear would come afterward, quiet and slick, sliding in between the moments. The notebook lies open on the floor, pages smeared where the ink ran. Words try to form. Sentences start, collapse. Stories about a girl who wanted to believe, about small choices, about how a yes can grow teeth if you are not careful. The rain keeps tapping. The mirror keeps splitting the face into two halves, one that stayed, one that ran too late. Somewhere beyond the window, traffic groans and hisses. Life moves on. Inside, the story is still caught between the broken glass, the rotting cup, and my empty eyes are trying to remember how it all began. Narcissism is a real thing. Joe Navarro, a former FBI agent and the author of over a dozen books, wrote in The Narcissist You Know that while roughly 2% of people meet the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder, around 22% of CEOs do. So chances are, dear listener, that you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, or you will be. Yet chances are that you are being manipulated into thinking someone is a narcissist who isn't. The point is, though, that you can drive yourself to insanity looking for clues unless you, yes, you, decide to put an end to it. As some of you know, and some may have concluded, I got divorced from my husband number 3. But before it happened, he made sure I suffered profoundly and lengthily. I was a wounded zebra. He was a hyena who was acting in a cackle of others. They kept chasing me for a very long time, and for a very long time I lived in a chronic stress which kept damaging my body mercilessly.
Narcissists tell the story from the point that you reached your emotional breaking point. They will literally misrepresent what happened to the point that they paint you as this irrational, crazy person that just attacked them for no reason, got in their face, started screaming at them, when in reality you had been emotionally backed into a corner again and again and again, psychologically and emotionally abused, gaslit to within an inch of your sanity, led in crazy-making circular arguments, had them projecting all of their own character traits and behaviors onto you, been accused of being and doing things you would never do, have never done, and often aren't even possible, blown up and been actually attacked by them.
Coach Claire is just one of many people who educate the public about narcissists. Since I learned narcissism is a real thing, which was way too late, I started looking for red flags in nearly everyone, and that's not healthy. It took me time to understand that recovery starts from the point when we are able to let go. Letting go isn't the same as forgiving. As Dr. Laura once said, not all things can be forgiven, and I agree. Letting go, that's cutting the cord. That's refusing to let your energy be siphoned anymore. That's reclaiming your future. Letting go isn't easy, but it's possible. And when you let go, you create space. Space for your own healing, space to enjoy small moments, to dream again, to build forward. Do you believe in a higher power such as the universe, God, or Creator? Do you believe in magic and that miracles are out there for you? Or do you think that you and your life have been irreversibly damaged? I'm not gonna lie, I have had those thoughts, and maybe because I did, I devalued myself and overlooked red flags. Today I'm different. I have transformed. And I'm confident that believing in something positive is the key to magic. When we believe, we begin to open up to allowing our desires to become reality. So, what do I believe in? I believe in Source, and that Source is energy. I believe that human bodies are vessels that can hold a certain amount of energy, and that we can grow to be vessels that can hold more. For now, I need to budget for how I use what I hold. I decided to apportion most of my energy to building from where I am. I don't see any benefit in spending my energy on forgiving or fighting any narcissists, psychopaths, and abusers in my past. I confess I used to do rituals where I repeated words of forgiveness mantra a friend of mine taught me. I no longer do that shit. I've cut that energy stream off completely. Then, why am I speaking about this topic here? To share information in my own unique way. I know that the lack of information is why I didn't recognize the signs. Yet I'm sure the information was out there, but it either didn't reach me or the way it was shared didn't resonate with me. If my way of sharing has the potential to resonate with someone, I feel I must share. But then it's up to you to put an end to your nightmare. You've been listening to the podcast of LZB. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and share it to show me your support and help me grow. If you want to learn more about me, my causes, my products, and my services, please visit my website ilzebe.com. That's ILZEBE.com. Disclaimers. In this podcast, I talk about mental and physical health and what has helped me to heal. Nothing that I say should be regarded as medical advice. If you have any medical condition, consult your doctor. Also, I'm an artist and storyteller. I'm sharing my stories because that's what artistic people do. Take it as fiction and as a form of my art. Even though I may sound as if I'm recalling events from my past, I don't confirm they actually happened. And if they did, I'm not blaming or accusing anyone, nor should you. I take all my life lessons with gratitude, trusting that they are given to me to expand my soul.